What's up everyone, Carter says now, welcome to my Raw 30 review, 30 year anniversary of Monday Night Raw. And this is, I'm not going to be doing like weekly Raw reviews just because this was a special show and just because there are some stuff I want to talk about. I'm going to do a little review, little recap, give my opinions and thoughts and stuff. This is the first Monday Night Raw I've stayed up to watch in at least like 5 years. It's like the first time I've started getting back into Raw and SmackDown. Triple H has been killing it in charge, and I was like, let me give this show, stay up and watch this show, and I'm happy I did. For the most part, it was a good show, a great show. First hour, one of the best hours of television you'll ever see in wrestling. Second hour there's some good stuff. Third hour, I don't know if it's because it was like 3 a.m. for me, but it was it was okay. It was okay. It wasn't like great. Like third hour you could have probably done without. But that might just be because I started to like fall asleep, start like kind of dozing off a bit. But yeah, overall very good show. Yeah, let's get into it because there's a lot to talk about. Open up the show was Hulk Hogan and Jimmy Hart. Hulkster just basically cut a promo. His mic kept cutting out, and you could see like someone sneaking out from backstage with a new mic, and see them switching it. That was kind of funny. Not really much to talk about there. And I'm not gonna like go really much. Just your typical Hulk Hogan babyface promo, trying to like get the crowd hyped for the show. Then we had, the video package that had been kind of shown, just hyping up all the best Raw moments. Then, what I like to say is the real start of the show. The Bloodline arrived for the tribal court of Sami Zayn. Of course, originally this was meant to be the acknowledgement ceremony with every generation of the Bloodline involved, but it's been reported that the plans changed because the Wild Samoans, Alpha and Sika, weren't able to travel, and Rikishi got sick. I can't remember who reported it, but that's what I've been seeing. We knew as far back as Friday, and that's why they shifted plans and set up for this tribal court. And it worked out for the good, because this is an all-timer segment, one of the best segments in Monday Night Raw history. This was perfect storytelling, another great segment in this Bloodline angle. It's beautiful storytelling. So they get in the ring. Of course, it's the trial of Sami Zayn. Heyman gets on the mic and he kind of says, the crowd are chanting ECW, of course they're in Philly, and he says to Roman Reigns, ECW is dead, and I want the same for Sami Zayn. And yeah, so Heyman is kind of trying to convince the court that Sami is guilty. He plays a video clip of like Sami running away from when the Usos got attacked. Sami like celebrating on the cage alone, throwing up like a for life sign after War Games, and he's like, what are we? We the NWO, we the Four Horsemen? Like, what is that all about? He shows him kind of shoulder barging into Roman and then he goes, Sami Zayn is guilty as charged, which, if you don't know, guilty as charged was a name of an ECW pay-per-view. So again, a little reference to ECW there in Philadelphia. And Roman's like, he's like, alright, Solo, do your thing. Solo goes behind Sami, he's about to hit him with the Samoan Spike, and then Jey Uso makes the save. He's like, hold up, I've got some evidence to say Sami isn't guilty. And like, I'm knocked out so hard for this moment. This was beautiful storytelling. This is why this angle is so good. If you remember back to when Sami first started hanging out with the Bloodline, Jey was the one who was sus to Sami. Jey was like, I'm not sure if I trust Sami Zayn. So for him to be the one to make the save for Sami Zayn. Oh, it's just beautiful storytelling. It's so good. It's why this angle is one of the best things WWE has done in the last 20 years. Is not the best thing they've done. It's one of the best things they've done ever. It's one of the best things in wrestling right now. If you're not keeping up with this storyline, you really should be. It's so good. So yeah, Jay plays the videos trying to prove Sami's innocence. Him helping the Usos win the tag belts, him taking the Claymore for Roman, the finish to War Games where he low blows and pins Kevin Owens. As I just see, like, we're in an infinite loop in this cage match, but in the background. But yeah, we're gonna continue talking about the Bloodline. Hopefully something changes here so you can. And yeah, so, like, that was just perfect. Jay being the one to make a save. And what made this so good is they showed clips and they made reference to stuff that happened like 5-6 months ago. It's not just recent, it's long-term storytelling, which is something WWE hasn't done in a long time. And it's one of the good things about Triple H taking charge. It's not short-term memories, which I guess is a benefit of not ripping the script up an hour before they start Raw and rewriting the whole show. It allows you to long-term book. As I'm just gonna quickly do something here. Just so we can get off this infinite cage loop. And yeah, it was just really good storytelling. I love this segment, I love this angle. And then the end of court is Roman Reigns finding Sami Zayn not guilty as of now, and he says that he doesn't want to see Sami before the Rumble. He doesn't want to see Sami at SmackDown. But Saturday at the Royal Rumble, Sami Zayn will face his final test, which I have a feeling could be cost Kevin Owens, screw Kevin Owens out of the championship. But let me just check that I'm not controlling Becky because she's just standing there now. Yeah, like his final test is coming up at the Rumble. I feel like it is to cost Kevin Owens, but imagine Rumble just says, alright, you need to win the Rumble from number 1 and then lay down for me at WrestleMania or something like that. That would just add another factor to the storyline. And then at the Elimination Chamber, which is in Sammy's hometown of Montreal, you could have Adam Pearce going, we're not having WrestleMania and you just laying down. You're going to put your number 1 contendership spot up in the Chamber. Sammy wins the Chamber. That way you get the big pop in Montreal, because I know that there's rumors saying that we wanted to do Sammy and Roman there and stuff because it's Montreal. But you could do some good stuff with this. I'm very intrigued to see where this goes. As I mentioned, this is one of my favorite things in wrestling. It's one of my favorite things WWE has ever done. I'm loving this angle, and yeah, I'm excited to see how that pays off. Then we go into the Usos defend the Raw Tag Team Championships against Dominic Mysterio and Damian Priest of the Judgment Day. Good match. There's a point in the match where Jimmy flies over the top and he looks like he blows his knee out, and yeah, I thought he was legit injured. The ref, throws up DX. Great selling by Jimmy. He made it look like he was legit hurt. But then, Adam Pearce is coming out and he's like, well, if you can't defend the belts, I guess we're going to have to end it or something like that. And Sammy's like, he can't defend it, but what about me? What about the honoraries? What about Sammy Uso? And Sammy takes the place of Jimmy. And I was like, oh, are they going to have Sammy lose and take the fall and be the blame for the Usos? losing the belt, and that's just going to be another thing Roman's going to be pissed at. But no, they end up getting the win. They had a couple of near falls. There's like 4 or 5 times in this match. There's a fall that made me bite, and I thought that was it. And I thought we had the title change. Like very, very good match. This was literally very, very good match. Very good storytelling in ring as well. You know, they did make it seem like there were points where Sami was going to lose it. You know, like you'd have Rhea back then. Priest comes in, South of Heaven. Dominic goes for the pin. And I thought there was a couple of moments where the Judgment Day were going to do it. And I even tweeted out before, I was like, I kind of wanted Judgment Day to win because I wanted to see Prison Dom win some gold. But how can you want this Usos to lose after that great segment? And yeah, anyway, the match finishes. Sami and Jay hit the 1D. Again, the storytelling from Sami, but from Jay being suspicious of Sami, to being the one to Sami finally winning them over, to Jay then making the save for Sami, saying, here's why you should still be the Bloodline, to Sami and Jay being the ones to retain the titles when Jimmy gets here. Like, oh, it's so fucking, it's so good. Oh, I love this. And yeah, they retain with the 1D to the Usos, thanks to Sami Zayn, still the Raw Tag Team Champions. LA Knight cutting a promo basically saying that like he's better than all the old timers, blah blah blah. Typical heel promo on these like a Legends show. Calls him out. The gong hits, but then American Badass by Kid Rock plays, and out comes the American Badass Biker Taker. I love Biker Taker. It's kind of like the Undertaker. I grew up on that and like Big Evil, which I consider Big Evil and the American Badass to be like one of the same, because they were both Biker Taker. You know, some people like to say they're a bit different, but yeah, this the Undertaker I grew up on. This the Undertaker I love. So to see the American Badass again, so good. Made me so happy. You know, LA Knight kind of tries to back away. Out comes Bray Wyatt from behind, kind of runs LA Knight back into the ring. Taker gets him into Goozle and then just hands him off to Bray Wyatt, who I believe he had Sister Abigail. Then as Taker leaves, he whispers something into Bray's ear, and you know, it's kind of a passing of the torch moment between Taker and Bray Wyatt, and I feel like it's about 10 years too late, but maybe about 8 years. You know, they had WrestleMania 30, you have Taker lose to Lesnar, and then you've seen that beat Bray, which I still think Bray should have won that one. Then they had the match at WrestleMania 31, so that would have been about 8 years ago. Bray again, especially after losing the Cena the year before, Bray should have beat Taker here. You know, the streak was already gone. There's no need for Taker to beat Bray, but we're not going to get into that. But yeah, so it's kind of like the passing the torch moment, you know, especially with being American Badass taking Taker's like, I ain't the spooky guy no more. That's all you. Yeah, it's again just kind of good use of a legend that helps set up the match at the Royal Rumble, which I'm interested to see how it plays out. I haven't really talked about the pitch black match. But I will do a Royal Rumble review that will probably drop Friday. So yeah, I'll kind of get into more about that. But I am intrigued to see what that is. Then we have this steel cage match between Becky Lynch and Bayley. Oh wait, no we don't. Because Damage Control attack Becky Lynch before she can enter the cage. All three lock her inside the cage and just beat her down as Adam Pearce tries to break use the bolt cutters to break the lock, and then they pose it on top of the cage. Apparently, Fightful and Sean Ross Sappino were reporting that this match was supposed to be 2 segments including entrances, but the Bloodline angle ran long. So that's why I decided to give you the match here. And yeah, so basically it was like, okay, we can do an angle or you can do like a 2-minute cage match. And they chose the angle, which I think actually is the right call. Even if they could have had the match, I feel like this could be the right call, which is a bit controversial. It would have been a good match, Bayley and Becky, but I feel like it's the angles you can continue it on. and do more. Whereas if you had the cage match, kind of blow off the feud. This way you can extend it on, build it up to a bigger match, bigger like cage match in a couple of weeks maybe. I like maybe not the Elimination Chamber, but you know, you can extend it out a bit. You can continue the feud, and I feel like Damage Control needed a bit of something like this, where they just left someone lane, had a dominant display. I feel like, especially since I've been watching pay-per-views and all, since I started getting back into like Raw and SmackDown, I feel like Damage Control needed to have something like this where they just a dominant display and left someone lane. I would have been interested to see how the match played out, who would have went over, and how would Damage Control try to get involved. Like, would this have been the settler? But now you can have Bailey and Damage Control kind of dominate the Rumble, run through the Rumble kind of Nexus style where they just use the numbers game. Then have Becky come out, eliminate him, then maybe she could get eliminated by Bailey, or eliminates Bailey to win it, because I know Becky's one rumoured people that could be winning it. You know, there's a lot of stuff you can do, and I feel like it could end up working out for the better. I know it probably sucks for Becky and Bailey that they had their match cut, especially when we get into the later half of the show. There's a lot of other stuff we could have cut and probably should have cut over this one, but I feel like you could do more by do more comments from this than you would have just having the match. So yeah, let's just wait and see how that one kind of plays out. Again, it sucks that it did get cut, especially if people bought this was one of the advertised matches, you know. So someone bought a ticket to see this cage match and all. But yeah, I've nothing wrong but with using it as an angle to set up something else. But you know, especially when you're given a bad situation, I'd rather they'd done what they did and use it as an angle than giving them a 2 or 3 minute cage match. I forgot to mention it, but there's oh no, we haven't got to it yet. I feel like I could be missing some stuff, but if I do, I apologise. DX come out with a new member, Kurt Angle. I tweeted out Kurt Angle's replaced Billy Gunn, and then they got to do the Road Dogg does his stuff where it's the Road Dogg Jesse James, the badass Billy Gunn. He went to do that, and he goes the bat, and looks at Kurt, and is like, everyone's just like, Kurt, what are you doing here? Kurt's like, oh, I just wanted to be a part of DX. Reminded me of when Kurt was with the Shield for one night only. That was a bit of fun. You know, they're just kind of DX are doing their stuff with Kurt there. Out come Imperium, and they're just like, you lot are a disgrace. What is this? You're old timers with your immature humor. The mat is sacred. Get out of here. And then, you know, Triple H and Gunther kind of have a stare down, and I was like, oh, this would be a good match. And I bet Triple H would love it to have a match with Gunther, especially since he's one of his NXT boys. But Triple H then is like, I'm retired. You know, Shawn kind of looks at him, he's like, nah, I'm too old. Waldman kind of then does something, he's like, nah, I don't, I've got he's like, oh, there's something wrong with me then. Then Road Dogg kind of looks at him, he's like, nah, I don't want any of this either. So the DX kind of huddle up, then they all kind of look at Kurt, and Triple H goes, Kurt said he'll fight him. Kurt's like, nah, I didn't say that. And they're like, oh, if only there was someone here who would fight him. Out comes Seth Rollins. Then was a Sean Waltman, X-Pac. He's like, oh, if there's a team that could even the odds. Out come the Street Profits. Then they're like, oh, if there's only someone who could come out and make sense of this. Out comes Teddy Long to make a tag team match play. Triple H also had a line during this where they're kind of booking stuff, and he's like, why is everyone looking at me? This booking stuff isn't easy, which made me laugh. It was a fun line. Then we got oh yeah, and Kurt Angle was made special guest referee. Then we got Street Profits and Rollins versus Imperium, and it was, seeing this, I was like, I actually kind of won't mind Gunther and Seth feuding over the IC title heading into Mania. That could be something that I would be down to see. That could be some good stuff. Seth and Gunther, yes, no, yes, that's a yes for me. And yeah, the faces get the win. I believe Seth. No, Street Profits did their stuff. Seth comes in, curb stomp. It was either on Eichner or Barthel. It wasn't. It wasn't Gunther who took the pin. I can't remember which one it was that took the fall. But it wasn't Gunther, so yeah, it was good. Again, using your legends to like set up something with your current guys rather than just burying them like they did with FTR, where they just had them take every finisher from DX. And yeah, it was a fun 6-man tag, 6 great guys in the ring. And you could use this then to set up Seth and Gunther for the IC title. So yeah, it was a fun match. And Gunther stayed strong because he wasn't known to take the fall. Then we kind of have like backstage, this was kind of a thing that continued on through the night. This is one of the things that I was going to speak about, but I decided to wait and speak about it here because this was the final segment in it. And there was a poker game going on. JBL and Baron Corbin walked backstage to run into the Godfather, and JBL's like, "Oh, we're on the list," and he's like, "Who's?" Godfather had no idea who Baron Corbin or Barry Corbin, whatever else he called him, was. They knock on the APA door. Ron Simmons comes out. They end up getting in. And you have people backstage playing poker. You had like $1 Million Man. You had DDP. You had Alundra Blaze. I can't really remember if there was any other legends there. Yeah, they had a poker game. Corbin ends up winning later on. I believe he beat $1 Million Man in a hand. And then IRS comes up, he's like, "Oh, don't forget to pay your taxes," and just literally puts all the money in a briefcase and leaves like Baron with like $1 or something. And $1 Million Man does the everybody's got a price thing. And yeah, so a little Money Inc. reunion there, just little like fun backstage stuff with the legends. Next up is probably a thing that should have got cut more than the cage match if I had to have cut something. Ric Flair, introduces Charlotte, and Charlotte just basically cuts a promo. It gets interrupted by Bianca Belair. Out comes Sonya Deville. She has a match with Belair, gets beaten. Because she's #1 contender for Charlotte, she's kind of bantering with Charlotte, and then Charlotte was like, "Oh, well, Bianca, this is your show, since you like to say so, because you're the Raw Women's Champ. Why don't you take care of Sonya?" Belair was like, "Alright." beats Sonya, and then kind of another promo from Belair talking about Bliss, who interrupts it, who's cutting a promo in the mirror backstage, which again sets up their Rumble match. And I believe like overall between like when Ric Flair started introducing Charlotte and the end of the like match or the end of the promo with Alexa, that was like 20 minutes. So you probably could have cut like 5-10 off of that and just given it to Bayley and Sasha. Like you could have just had a quick thing where the two champs kind of like go back and forth backstage and get interrupted. But I guess you wanted to have Ric Flair out there. But yeah, I feel like you could have cut time from this. You could have just had Rick and Charlotte talking backstage to get interrupted by Bianca. They kind of doing the back and forth there. And they get interrupted by Sonya, and that sets up Belair and Sonya. They have the quick match, and Sonya's not beating Bianca. And then you have her do the like Alexa Bliss. You could have like easily cut 5-10 minutes off this and given it to the cage match, but it is what it is. You also had at some point the Cody Rhodes promo playing again, where he's like, "Oh, I'm going to win the Rumble, blah blah blah." and that was like another like 10 minutes, and it was basically the same video that we've had like the last couple of weeks, so you probably could have cut some time off of that. But like I said, I don't really have a problem with using the cage match to further the story and like as an angle. But there was just other stuff that didn't need as much time as it got. Was the Miz promo next? Yes, it was, where he cut a promo and just gets interrupted by Kevin Owens, who's like, Saturday, I'm taking the title off you, Roman, blah blah blah. So that was just again Kevin Owens and Roman getting set up again. And then Lashley and Theory fight for the US title in the main event. It was no disqualification match, so it was just kind of your typical like TV hardcore match. I'm struggling to really think of a lot. Again, this was like nearly 4 AM for me. It's a point where Lashley puts Theory through a table, and he's kind of downselling as well. Out comes the Beast, Brock Lesnar. Lesnar is back, and also this reminds me of something that I did forget to mention. Lashley earlier in the show did cut a promo. He's like, well, I only lost the US title because of Brock Lesnar, which a bit foreshadowing. And he basically told MVP, let me handle my business tonight alone. So yeah, Brock is back. Hits an F5 on Lashley, then picks up Theory, F5's Theory onto Lashley, which of course causes Lashley to be pinned for victory and Austin Theory to retain, which again sets up Lesnar and Lashley, which I believe will be Lesnar-Lashley 3. So yeah, I believe they're one apiece, so I would hold off until Mania, and I'd have saved this for Brock's Mania match, and I'd have Lashley and Brock 3 at Mania. You can use the Rumble to set that up, have Lashley eliminate Brock or Brock eliminate Lashley, and then just kind of use that as your setup for this Mania, and I believe that is everything. Overall, first hour, great hour of TV. Second hour, some good stuff. Final hour, it was okay, not special. And yeah, overall, enjoyable show. And that is it for my review reactions. Let me know what you thought of Raw 30 in the comment section below. Did you enjoy? Actually, I did kind of forget the Bella Twins shooting on Raw, saying some stuff. They were originally advertised. Yeah, I don't really want to go into too much details. They were like saying some stuff about WWE, which yeah, it's surprising coming from the Bellas, but yeah, I'm not going to go into detail there because I can't remember exactly what to say. There's just stuff about like Sasha Banks and WWE not wanting to mention certain stuff about Women's Revolution and mentioning the Bellas, even though they plugged Nikki Bella's new TV show. But yeah, we're not going to get into that. But overall, enjoyable episode of Raw. Leave a like if you enjoy. Let me know what you thought in the comment section below. Subscribe if you're not already, and I'll see you in the next one.